of what is really being extracted.
Authorities say Nigeria loses $9 billion annually to illegal mining, but with the right structures in place, the country could block these financial holes.
So what are we agitating for? An independent agency that will be responsible for monitoring and inspection of the mining sites.
Nigeria's constitution bestows the powers to determine the use of mineral resources on the federal government, with land ownership under the prerogative of state governments. Some experts believe this is discouraging investment in the mining sector.
As it is, you find out some people will be mining in some places. We don't know. And when we arrest them, they will tell you they have getting clearance from the federal mining officer.
We're changing that now, that ab initio, you have to obtain the consent after identifying your site. Then you obtain the consent of the host communities before even applying for your license, and before we can give approval. So it's now a precondition.
Although the existing legal framework makes provision for the Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee (MIREMCO) in states, an ongoing constitutional review seeks to give states autonomy over mineral resources.
This bill is one that will amend Section 44 of the Constitution to remove natural resources of all sorts from the exclusive list and to be put on the concurrent list.
As with many sectors in the country, poor infrastructure remains a challenge for many investors.
A whole lot of mining pits and ponds are being managed by quacks, people who know nothing or next to nothing about mining.
You find out that foreigners, most especially Chinese, are the ones who have the large mines. Why? Is because they have funds available. They can afford every kind of machinery that they will work with.
According to Standard & Poor, as of 2023, Nigeria's exploration budget is ranked 12th in Africa with $2.5 million or 4.193 billion naira, a far cry from the $41.732 million or 70 billion naira required.
We don't have industries that mine, that refine those minerals in the country. For example, all these industrial minerals, all we mine are taken out of the country for processing.
Investors will always want to see safer and cheaper investment havens. It is very clear that the business climate in Nigeria is hostile.
As government,
there is no question in my view, and I come from an area where you have, like you rightly said, sir, there is hardly any part of Nigeria where you don't have solid minerals, even in the south. But what I observe, whereas the federal government is ruthless with people who are doing illegal oil buckling, and they deploy JTF to deal with those involved in illegal buckling. When it comes to illegal mining of solid minerals, the federal government changes. It's like using different standards. And I'm very angry about that. Because if we have to fight, deploy army, even to kill, for anyone who is involved in illegal buckling of oil, and you deploy JTF, a combination of army, police, air force, everybody, why are we allowing illegal mining in many parts of the country that is going on? And they are being mined by retired generals, and we know them. Yes, we know them. Nobody can pretend doesn't know them. I did a letter to former President Buhari, because somebody I sent to go and conduct a primary somewhere reported back to me, a retired general of Northern Extraction, told me that, look, Adams, you are worried about the challenge of conducting primaries in Zamfara. The challenge he sees there is far more than that. And if it's not dealt with, Nigeria will not know peace in parts of the country. And this gold go all the way through the belt, all to Kaduna. And it up to, yeah, correct. And he told me that those involved in this illegal mining, they use choppers. They procure arms exactly the same way as our military were doing in the South. They give them arms. They use choppers to come and cut away the gold. And they take them out of this country and make billions of US dollars. And the federal government is not doing what it should be doing. I took this letter to the former president when I was national chairman of APC. And I said, call the general to give you more brief. In fact, what is happening, or what subsequently happened in that part of the country, was exactly what the general told me was going to happen. Because these guys have been weaponized by the illegal big men who deploy them, secure territories, and the weapon is meant to protect the Chinese and other foreigners who they actually employ to carry out the mining. And on occasion, they use the same weapon to carry out banditry, kidnapping, and all of the terrible things that are going on. Chief of Committee Chairman of Defense Staff, tell the defense I said so. That some retired military officers, army officers are involved in it. The day we can't tell the truth, this country cannot flourish. We can't change our, when it affects our people, we are at our best. We talk strong. Some other people appear to be above the law. That is what is going on with solid mineral. It is not that we don't know where it is. We have a whole survey of where we have what across the length and breadth of Nigeria. We also know, everybody complaining about certain people from certain nationalities. How they got here, even as we are talking now, they are doing those illegal mining. And those guys are getting richer when Nigeria State is getting poorer. But we carry the consequences of banditry, kidnapping, and that which this on illegal armed men, which they equip. Sir, who can afford to buy a chopper to land in an illegal mining site, cut away gold, return to Sediti, and then on the way to airport, bam, take them out of the country? This is happening. So I agree with you, but there is.
Okay. So, where's the lie in what Adams Oshiomhole has just said? Listen to me. I'm not a fan or a big fan of Adams Oshiomhole. I don't like him. I don't hate him either. But he's an outspoken. One thing I like about him, Adams Oshiomhole, is very outspoken. He's fearless. He confronts you and says it the way it is. There was one man as a Nigerian Labour Congress national chairman confronted the president, Olusegun Obasanjo, several times. So that man knows what he's talking about. He doesn't just come out to talk. So where's the lie in what Adams Oshiomhole had just said? Where is the lie? Where is the lie? Now, forget about the messenger. Pay attention to the message being conveyed across. There's a Benin saying that Uyinorama ara gwon agwale emi no wi arere mioy. Uyinorama ara gwon agwale emi no wi arere mioy. You know what that means? when the actual thief is helping you look for what was stolen, the chances of you finding what has been stolen is very slim. You may not even find it at all. When the thief, the one who has actually stolen that property, is helping you look for it, the chances of you getting to find that property is slim. The chances of you, matter of fact, you're not going to get that property because the one who has stolen it is the one looking for it as well. So Adams Oshiomhole is saying the federal government is not doing anything about illegal minings in Nigeria. I'm saying the federal government can do nothing because the people who are involved in illegal mining in Nigeria are also a part of the government, or they have been part of the government in the past, or they know they are friends, or they know people who are also a part of the government. So they are all in it together. So you will never find a solution to that because it is the government that's also involved in it. I believe they said this was a commonwealth, that commonwealth, like Nigeria belongs to everyone. So whatever resources that comes out is divided equally across regions and states. So why are the resources, the mineral resources, why are most of them being harvested by a selected region, a selected few, and yet they are still fighting for the oil in the South? Nigeria Mining Act of 2007 that prohibits illegal mining. No one is interested in that Nigeria Mining Act of 2007 any longer because they are benefiting from it. I know most of these ex-military men Adams Oshiomhole is speaking about now. I know, I've read about them, I've seen, I know some of them. Not personally, but I've read some articles and links that really point fingers at them, and I believe it. Recently, right? Last year or thereabout, Chinese nationals were caught illegally using fake documents to mine lithium. Most of the resources we are talking about are the lithium in Nigeria. Chinese. How did they get in here? How did they fake that document? How are they able to passport? How are they able to do this if they are not being supported by someone from the inside or people from the inside? So what's Oshiomhole talking about? How do you expect to fight this kind of crime when the government is the federal government they are the ones involved in it? How? They are the ones involved in it, or they are friends. It's them. So how do you expect to fight this kind of crime? We know their locations too. I also have checked some stuff on the internet too, where these mineral resources are located. And the reason why it's quite difficult to deal with this issue is because the locations are beyond access. It's hard to access these locations, and that's why they are using helicopters. It's hard to locate. It's almost a no-go area. So before you are able to mine from these kinds of locations, you would have put things in place. You would have put things in place. And then they use children. They use children to mine lithium and our natural resources the ones that are not being accounted for at the moment. The little children they use in mining them, stress them. I don't even know what happens to them if they sustain any accident or whatever happens to them. They probably just bury them there. But because this has been going on and no one is doing or saying anything about it, doesn't mean people don't know what's going on. So whether you like Adams Oshiomhole, whether you do not like Adams Oshiomhole, the guy has spoken the truth. And if you are reasonable enough, you should be investigating further rather than witch hunt him. I mean, the country belongs to everyone. The resources belongs to everyone. So you cannot be using joint task force to chase militias in South for illegal bunkering and not also practicing that in the North. You cannot be doing that. These Northerners, they are the ones ripping us off in that country. These Northerners. They've been there. They've been the one doing this, and they are being supported by foreigners too. This collaboration is between the Northerners and these are foreign countries, and I don't want to mention their names. There is a collaboration. And so how can you fight external bodies and the federal government who is involved in this? They are the ones involved in it. The federal government, they are the ones involved in it. So Adams Oshiomhole, I'm sorry, it is what it is. How are you? What? And now you are now a part of the federal government, Adams Oshiomhole, and very good you have spoken out. Are you just going to keep quiet? What measures are you going to further as a senator? Are you going to propose a bill that's going to deter people from stealing our resources? Or are you just going to speak out so they say, oh, he has spoken, and then we don't hear about this again for another? Because you saying it doesn't mean we have not been aware. We've been aware for a very long time. People you are telling, they also are aware. But thanks. That's one step ahead. You bringing this up because nobody will talk about it for fear of being witch hunted or fear of I don't know. But anyway, what am I going to say? Oshiomhole, Adams Oshiomhole has spoken a piece of my mind. Relevant authorities who are that's the problem. I'm saying relevant authorities, but these relevant authorities are a part of it. Ministry of Mining and Steel. The boss, the Ministry of Mining and Steel boss, I don't know his name. If he were patriotic enough, he should do something about this already. I have nothing else to say, to be honest. But where is the lie?